is Nathan LeFevre. Nathan is teaching professional out of the Bronxfield Field Club. He is the only player I know from Tasmania.
Okay.
Coming in,
Humphries,
his assistant, Mr. Humphries, is his second year playing.
Yep.
Really? Got a second or third year. He's,
first year of the kind of
first
elite,
year in the
broke
kind of
itself
the-
into the top.
Yep, and he works with Nathan over there, and he's a lefty with a lot of talent, a lot of spin. Very, for a young player, I think very patient. Returning right now, we have Anton Bobytskyi. He's been a bunch of years here up in the Connecticut area. Teaching pro. Very good player. He's played P Cup for years in the different regions. He was on the winning P Cup yesterday team for Region 2. Solid player, has been around. Playing over there on the other lefty is Roman Stoisavljevic.
Stoisavljevic, it's a tongue twister. He's a Croatian player, good lefty, a lot of talent. Should be an interesting matchup here. Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, unseeded team. They're just playing together kind of for the first time. I think this is maybe their third time playing. And a lot of talent. Bobytskyi's got a great backhand, especially off the screen. Forehand's not quite as good, but he's hitting it more. I was watching him the other day. He's setting up for it right now. Stoisavljevic hits both forehand and the backhand pretty well. A lot of spin, good action, that lefty action. And it's going to be a great match, actually. This is one of the better round of 32 matches out there. And in the 64 format now, Matt, you're going right into it right away.
15:30.
Yeah, I think one of the big keys also is going to be to see how Humphries, as he said, he is the young player out here, and it's the pressure. We've all been there, and sometimes, Brad, you've been farther than 99% of the players out here, and see how he does. Be best to be getting in the match.
30 all.
All right, 30 all. Yeah, things to look for is definitely Humphries, the new player, his discipline and ability to just sort of handle the rounds as they continue on. And he can be a little undisciplined at times. He's got a great backhand. His forehand is okay, but it can go off the rails from time to time. And the thing to look for on the other side is, Stoisavljevic's ability to play disciplined. He tends to play almost sometimes a little, angry at times, where he just starts hitting shots. He's got all the talent in the world, but he needs to control it and put the shots out in the right time. So,
as you said, the problem in this game for a lot of these players is their talent. There's so many different talented players that are so good, and you hit some of the best shots, and they come back, and it's hard for some of these players to stay mentally focused for that long. And these guys know, though, that this is their opportunity to make the round of 16 is a big deal here at this tournament.
Yeah, I could see this match going either way. I think both teams have some similar skill sets, meaning Chris Humphries, the two lefties, Humphries and Stoisavljevic, have excellent spin overheads, good action on the ball, and both. And LeFevre, LeFevre, he can hit spin overheads too, as can Bobytskyi. Bobytskyi, the least of the players on the court in terms of an offensive overhead.
Oh yeah, I think the big thing too is Nathan, when he feels comfortable that he's one of the best movers on the court. He'll cut a volley off that you don't normally would teach, but he will do it. He'll hit a shot here and there that you're like, but he's so quick and fast. He gets away, not to get away with it, but he gets back in position, and he's been playing the game longer than the other one, so he's got a little bit more of that, what they need to do strategic-wise.
Yeah, Nathan LeFevre is a slippery mover. He wouldn't go, he's super fast. He kind of glides around the court, moves in transition. He's not explosive quickly that you might see from like a Max LeFevre or something, but he gets around really nice, and he's very smooth. Now you see, and we're going to see this all day, that Roman Stoisavljevic in the white shirt on the far side, where he's returning serve from Chris Humphries' serve. It's that serve right up the tee with heavy spin. Stoisavljevic all the way in the other court. and you're seeing Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic switch. You're going to see that a lot today.
It's interesting. Talking to Nathan before the match, and LeFevre was talking about some of the stuff they wanted to do, and really have Humphries hit the overheads in a lot, and kind of the lefty versus lefty, and then they find out right before the match that the lefty's been playing a lot of the ad court, and you're like, oh, so it's a little bit of a change, but he said, and Anton Bobytskyi will stay out there forever. That's the backhand you're talking about.
He's got a great backhand, but that's also the undisciplined approach that we were talking about before, too. He's moving back and away from the ball. Even if he makes the drive, he's got no chance to follow it up with an attacking shot following. So it's an undisciplined shot. It's the kind of shots that, for Humphries, he's already reached a very high level. He's right here. He's in the top 16. He's played on President's Cup yesterday, a ton of good experience in matches. But if he wants to crack into that top 10, top 8, that elite tier, there's that cutoff you're seeing. Terrific drive from Bobytskyi, but cut off beautifully. For him to get that next level, he's going to have to get rid of those sort of what I consider a loose mental shot. He's just got to be more disciplined.
But it's a very good thing also for, if you notice these guys, Nathan hitting that forehand there. When Nathan, his forehand it's rolling, it makes it, their team's very tougher because you really don't have any outs because he's such a good lobber. Offensive style lobs, even when they're, he'll set up his partner all the time as those, very precise lobs. So then you're going to go up the middle, and then if he's hitting that forehand, it's...
Yeah, and he's cracking a couple of here. Those are good, but great position volleying from Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi. And there you go, Humphries again on the heels. He's not afraid to take the crack. And if they can bait him into that, so we got deuce here. That'll work out well. But the safe places on the court for Stoisavljevic in terms of safest are going to go to the, LeFevre backhand and the Humphries forehand for the most part. Just gets it over. Stoisavljevic, who just couldn't quite get the ups there, with only maybe a few inches off the ground. Needed a couple more. Stoisavljevic has not taken a swing yet at the Humphries serve. He doesn't feel comfortable with all that spin.
Notice in my ears, though, he talked about not taking the swings at the serve. Most lefties, they love serving, but they don't like the lefties serving back to them. They're like, that's not fair. Now you know how we feel.
Yeah, you're right. So what I'd love to see from Humphries is that ball was high, it was short, it was in front of him, but he wasn't set up to drive. He just took the drive at the last second. What I want to see from him, and he's, like we said, he's so talented, so good already after a couple of years. What I want to see from him, though, is, a little slip from Stoisavljevic, is him hitting the lob, moving himself into a position on the court and getting set up before the hit comes, as opposed to like at the last minute go, I'm going to hit the backhand. And his percentage will go up so much more, and he'll be that much more dangerous.
Now, as you said, that comes from experience. I mean, as much as you can tell, as much as you can tell somebody right away, oh, you should do this, you do this. It takes time.
Oh, of course.
But every time he steps on a court, especially in a match like this, it's only going to help his future.
Unquestionably, you're 100% right. He's actually coming at this as soon as a lot of players. He's really only in his second year playing, and it's really impressive stuff. I was recognizing it earlier in the year, actually at the end of last year, how good he was going to be. I had seen him in a bunch of drill sessions and other things, and not only is great talent, but he's a great kid, really good guy.
Deuce.
Unique background, too. He's out of New Mexico, Albuquerque. Pretty cool. Speeding up the point against Stoisavljevic. Good job getting there.
You saw Stoisavljevic do a little slip, unfortunately, before. Hopefully the weather, doesn't play a factor. This match is going to be so fun to watch. Be here a while to watch it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And
this game is back and forth. It's terrific. Oh,
Advantage receiver.
Moving forward. Stoisavljevic, break point here. Yeah, staying disciplined. Will not take those returns off the deck.
Deuce.
Misses the lob long. That's the one thing. If you're just going to lob it back, you can't miss him, right?
It looked like he was looking at Bobytskyi, just trying to figure out if they're going to switch or not. And it's, again, it's you think, I'm never going to miss the lob. You just take 2 seconds away. It's such a mental.
Right on there. Great shot. Oh, slippery shots there from, terrific play from LeFevre. What a get from Stoisavljevic. That's amazing. It's going right at the nick. No help call needed, though. Oh.
Advantage receiver.
So far, though, he's taken about 10 of those shots, but he's missed quite a few. A higher percentage that you want to see. He's not afraid to pull the trigger, though. That much I love. Like, he is definitely
getting comfortable.
Fearless.
I think as you said, right. And it's the right shots at the right time. It's just, staying confidence with it, and then, pulling the trigger at the right spot, and he'll just stay with it. And
that's right at the crease. Good dig. Nice. So far, I love Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. Just are definitely willing to stay out there and grind. A lot of pressure from Humphries and LeFevre with the overheads, and yet they're still going. He took the spike there.
he
Not
baited
quite
him.
balanced.
Just kind of baited him a little bit, and it's it's so tough. You finally see the shot you want, and then just to pull the trigger. It's like, how hard should I hit it?
It's a tricky one. Great serving from LeFevre so far. From Humphries, just put each one in the box deep. None are getting returned back. It's a rare thing you see, almost no drives. That's a testament to a really, really good lefty serve.
Yes.
There you see LeFevre looking for the cutoff volley. It's burned down the line, but he's looking for the risk reward there. If he cuts it off, he might have a chance to put it away. If they drive it behind him, they'll just bail.
The one thing you will say about these guys, all four of them so far, is, their paddles don't move much. The luck in the net.
Advantage receiver.
Even on their drives, their paddles are in such control, and people are watching. How do they get that? There's not much movement with the paddle, so it's not like they're, trying to deflect stuff. They're trying to, put the paddle in the right spot, and then from there just control it with their grips.
So this game's going on like 10, 15 minutes here. It's been back and forth. This is about the 5th, 6th break point for Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi, and Humphries and LeFevre had a couple points. Nice push overhead. What he did so well there, Matt.
He held it.
Held it, right. Held his paddle in position. You couldn't tell if he was going to push it up the middle, cut it a little, and then Stoisavljevic just at the last moment bit forward, and he pushed it behind him. Beautiful. both teams are happy to play in transition right now.
Oh,
Almost like a lot of good, solid off-pace drives, a lot of balls moving through the court. You're not seeing, sometimes you'll see another team have a player stay up, like Juana Rai or Marco Giangero, look for the cutoff volley. They're just bailing back right now. Oh, great athletic get. Another good cut from Stoisavljevic. Short. Oh, just dealing. Great job by Stoisavljevic, cutting those overheads, putting a lot of pressure, and they couldn't control their lobs. You know, at the end.
it's you're right. The lefty spin gets to him. It gets him, make him shorter and shorter. And as a righty in the ad side, you're not used to seeing that lefty cutting the ball at you. From the deuce side, we've all seen it, but the ad side is tougher. This break point number.
You know, it's got to be like 7. There's a lot of them out there. Great little push overheads.
This is also the type of game that if you can hold, I mean, it can make it take a lot of, you know, all of a sudden it gets in the head of the receivers sometimes. Like how, you know, what do I need to do to break?
Yes, I think this will be, there is the break and a great game.
Stoisavljevic, Bobytskyi. Game is tied 1-1.
Yeah, I think that game was especially important for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic after 7 break points. You know, and you know, to even them up at 1 game all. It's still so early in the match, but that was a real. That felt like a game at 5-4, serving a, you know, close out or trying to break back, you know, just to stay in the match. That was great early on. Ooh.
15 love.
A little bit of a loose lob there.
Yeah, the one thing that
15 all.
With you know, Nathan LeFevre is, you know, years of playing him and years of playing him. You know, he's got so much instant offense with quick speed and quick this and quick that.
15-30.
He drove that just outside of Bobytskyi. Bobytskyi looked back and he went, whoa, I did not see that coming. That was awesome.
It's just the best I've seen Nathan hit his forehand. I know it's early, but that's it. That's a
no, you're right. It's a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's on, because when it's not, his offense can dry up a little in the backcourt. That's a filthy cut overhead there from Stoisavljevic. Heavy, hard swing, but the ball moves slow. Completely catches Humphries. Wow. Yeah, I would say, like, so you take LeFevre, you know, he's been a great player for a long time, but there's been like a quasi-ingredient that's kept him from being towards the top, and it seems to me like he does a lot of things really well, but nothing specifically great.
I know he said for years he really, really likes, you know, playing with the lefties. You know, he played with, you know, Estes for a few years, and you look at the losses they've had in the big tournaments. It's Drew and Jared.
Advantage receiver.
Right.
You know, Mark and
tough
Parsons,
teams, of course.
Tough teams. So it's always tough teams. But yeah, you know, it is nice. He said to, you know, speaking to him at the Long Island tournament, it's very nice. You know, breath of fresh air for him in a way. Just, you know, being a young father now, and on top of it having a young partner that he's like he can grind a little bit more. And I'm fine that he can run around and I don't have to move as much.
Yeah, he loves playing with the young partner, the up-and-coming player, which is terrific. And this is a good team. Really, really good stuff so far. Ooh. Oh. See, now that drive, he's trying to make something happen. He did, but you'd have to say he made it happen better for Bobytskyi there, right? You know, because the drop wasn't that effective. He forced him in, but Bobytskyi forces the error with a pretty reasonable backhand hit that's not too difficult for him.
The big thing, and I think a lot of these guys are, get back into the match mode, is they do stuff like hit a drop shot like that, and it doesn't look like Anton's trying that hard to get it, and all of a sudden he's there, and it's like, oh, I'm not ready. Where, getting into it, and a couple times, okay, he'll just be ready on that, and then that's the difference between nice try.
Advantage server.
When the Jared Palmers and the Drew Broderick's of the world, they're never not ready.
Yeah, and they're not giving you so many opportunities. They're taking them all away, basically, in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
All right, there'll be more great shots, but also a lot more gifts.
Deuce.
Yep.
And that was a gift back there from Bobytskyi. That's a tough shot to make. Even if he makes it, it's probably not going to threaten LeFevre that much anyway, unless
No, especially coming from a transition.
Advantage
swing.
server.
Swing, that's his shot. But the other thing about the drop shot on a day like today is, it's 45 degrees out.
Deuce.
It's not 25.
No.
So you got to be judicious with it. It's not that you can't hit it, but the guys are going to be all over it.
They said see some amazing athletes out there.
Advantage.
It's amazing athletes out here. These guys are great. Men or women. They're training all the time now. They're in great shape. They, some of them run marathons. They run, not just that. They're in the gym all the time, and it's as well as that. So the drop shots and things like that. Almost everyone, especially in the 16s.
Yeah, this is a round of 32 match.
Yeah.
This is a tough round of 32. Two very good. Stoisavljevic been in the top 10 or around the top 10 with Sven Brodich in the past.
LeFevre.
Bobytskyi played,
Humphries.
a couple of years very successfully with Bernard Schumann.
Yes, they did.
So both those players, very, very good. That was a good break, and then, this is one of those games where you can look back. I think this match is a really tight one. It's just going to be a really good matchup, and Bobytskyi's going to have to watch it. It's going back and saying, we have a break, we have a game point, and I turned around and tried to hit this perfect little dink at that. But I think that's going to be what separates the teams in this match, right? The person who does that the least. Probably not who executes it the most. The person who does it the least is going to come ahead. Ooh.
15 love.
I think Bobytskyi's forehand is improved. He used to be mostly just a backhand guy, and I love that little delayed serve and volley there from LeFevre. Great job. His hands are terrific.
30 love.
One of the things about this game has changed is you don't see the automatic serve and volley. You see the
40 love.
Half back, not all the way in. See what happens. They're not afraid to play from the backcourt either. So it's a lot of fun to watch different nuances.
Yeah, I think every team needs to have about 4 or 5 different serve strategies and plays that they need to do. And it's actually a great lesson for club players too. Any club player out there should also have 3 to 4 strategies. Wow, 3 missed forehands there from Bobytskyi.
They lead 3-1 in the first set.
And that was a bit of a gift, but hey, I always loved it when I got them.
I could take them.
Yeah, exactly. Get it right back. And so far what we're seeing in the match really is who's trying to make the most shots, but it's been more about who's missing them. And at a certain point in time, yes, you can keep going for your shots. You should hit the ones you want to. But at a certain point in time, you have to dial it back to that level that's going to be optimal, Because you can go through a match, an entire match, and see less mixed balls by a Drew Broderick. Now, Drew Broderick's a special case, right? He doesn't miss, balls, period. And he's playing mostly to not lose points, not to win them, whereas all these players are trying to win all the points.
If you notice,
15,
the first 2
30,
games were
15.
they played that way.
15-30, excuse me.
It was, since that serve, Bobytskyi missed like 2 serves, and
15-40.
It's been a quick since.
Yep, that was a great return there. A little off pace from LeFevre. Oof.
30-40.
Oh, that's a great cut. That's a lot of good action there from Stoisavljevic. Oh, he tried to body him, and good, quick,
Deuce.
Matrix-like move there, Matt.
Yep. I'm not going to say that would have hit me in the chest because I'm
You
that
would have been
short.
out of the way.
It went over my head. I'm that short, but no, I wouldn't have gotten out of the way.
I tell you, that was one of those shots where, it's a decent play every now and then to try to body your opponent, to frame them up. But Stoisavljevic saw the possibility.
Yep. You got out of the way. You got to give him all the credit. Oh.
Advantage server.
But that was,
here it is.
it was just 15-40.
It was just 15-40, and it's three misses. Tries to body him, tries to spike a ball where he's off balance, and he hits a one-handed wide roller.
Deuce.
That's long.
Advantage receiver.
That's a great
I
rip.
know they're
I think
just out there, but it looks like
Game,
it's got a
Humphries,
little bit of
LeFevre,
moisture
they lead
going
4 games
on,
to 1,
and the ball
first set.
itself is. I know they're changing balls every 7 games.
Yep.
So.
All right, Uline. Uline is the leading distributor of shipping, industrial, and packaging materials to businesses throughout North America. They ship over 2.5 million boxes every day, but they are so much more than a box company. More than 32,000 quality products are always in stock and ready to ship. Outstanding customer service means they're here when you need them, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Uline, the best selection, products, and people for an unforgettable customer experience. Oh, just a terrific
15 left.
read. And that stretch forehand volley from, Nathan LeFevre is tremendous. That is not easy to do. That is a great, great look.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I was coaching her,
Oh, see that?
that.
He missed it, but
Yeah.
that drop.
That was good.
I think he's
like
going to have
getting away with
to
murder.
shelve that one,
Wow.
for the
30
rest of the
left.
match. But he did make things speed up, and he did win the point. So,
If I was Anton and Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, I would definitely be taking this game and saying, all right, every point's got to be. Just do like 20 hits, 20 lobs per drive, even if you got a great drive, just to get the momentum slowed down.
Right.
'Cause Nathan, yep,
he missed that long.
30-15.
just to try to change it up. I mean, sometimes we were talking about in the ladies' match earlier about they sometimes speed it up here or there just because great hands.
Great hands, and then
40-15.
Stoisavljevic didn't feel he had the better of it. Was going lob volley, but he missed it. Like that wind up from Humphries, it's pretty cool. He kind of cocks his hand up and back, and then he just goes and smart
40-30.
play. And I was about to say this, Matt, before. If you're driving the ball against a player like Nathan LeFevre, you want to do the drives at him 50% of the time.
Yes.
And, because he's moving 50% or 60 or 70% of the time. So when you go at him, he might
Game.
leave that spot, or you might find his
LeFevre,
hip because he'll
Humphries
move into
lead
the ball
5
the
games
wrong
to
way.
1, first set.
All right, 5-1. They're
It's
just moving too fast for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. They're going to have to find the right level here against these guys. Oh, good backhand.
15 left.
I mean, and LeFevre and Humphries, they need to make sure that they don't,
15 out.
Give it back.
give it back.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. When you have the momentum like this, and you won't want to sit there and you want to keep playing your game and everything like that. But,
Oh, did you see that split there from Humphries? It's tough on our screen angle there, but he was literally fully laid out almost. That actually, I think I got a groin pull up here in the booth.
Me.
Yes. That's great spin over. Nice flick. You see how LeFevre flattens that paddle down, gets it underneath the ball, and flicks it up. Ball was only maybe 2 inches off the ground. Incredible.
40-15.
Right on the line.
$40-30.
30. Now, nobody's at the net, and he's taking a big hit there. Smart move to stay back from Humphries there. Oh, good blitz.
Deuce.
But all these fast plays. See, the points are... We had that one really long game. The one game, actually, that Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi won. And everything else from that, I think all the other games combined haven't added up time-wise to that one single service game. And that's just
first set.
Gift of the first set there.
6 games to 1. LeFevre, Humphries.
And Stoisavljevic
new balls, gentlemen.
And Bobytskyi are going to have to try and take a good look here at what they're doing and switch it around and change it up. I mean, at this moment in time,
it's a little
what would you say? All right, so BTIG, another one of our sponsors. BTIG is a global financial services firm specializing in institutional trading, investment banking, research, and related brokerage services. With an extensive global footprint and more than 600 employees, BTIG operates out of 18 cities throughout the U.S., Europe, Asia, and Australia. BTIG offers execution expertise and insights for equities, equity derivatives, ETFs, fixed income, currency, and commodities. The firm's core capabilities include global execution portfolio, electronic and outsourced trading, transition management, investment banking, prime brokerage, capital introduction, corporate access, research, strategy, commission, management, and more. BTIG. That's a lot. BTIG covers a lot of ground.
So we're thinking about that first set a little bit there, Brad, and we both said the same thing. Yeah, when they finally broke to make it 1-1. We're like, it's important for those guys. You don't want to lose that game, not to be down 2-0, but having 8 break points. And then since that, they've had 3 points for another game, and I think they were just.
Well, yeah, twice on Bobytskyi serve he was up 40-15 or had the game point, and each time it ended up with fault, miss volley, miss ball, but every point was less than 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. If you're not winning these fast points and it doesn't look like that's the way you're going to win it, you got to change it. I'm not saying Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic can't hit the ball, but they got to slow this pace down and look for the right ball. And then when they're at the net here, find the spots where they want to bait Humphries and LeFevre into hitting their drives. And you got to be going in to LeFevre's backhand side. I'd smash it into his side screen. As long as it's getting there, because he's crushing forehands right now. They're not placing their overheads in a place that's making it difficult for him. As a consequence, that's the first fault from Humphries. So this would be a good start if they can get this game, get it off into the right foot.
Game, Stoisavljevic.
I think he surprised them a little bit
they
with that
lead
slap
1 game
forehand.
to love in the second set. First
that
set
was the
won
game
by
right there,
LeFevre
though, that I was watching. That Humphries said, that looked like the missed an overhead early because trying to spin it too much, and then that volley it's kind of like, as you said, it looked like a surprise, but it was still one of those when it's kind of like, okay, we just won, we won the last 5 games in 8 minutes.
Yep.
They gotta, you gotta stick down.
Yeah, well, the surefire way to have a tee, we all know that was a 6-1 set, and that's a great hit to get at the top of the net too. They won a 6-1 set, Humphries, LeFevre, and it was a lot of points. They played really well, but they also got a lot of errors from Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi, and even games where they were up in game points and they just threw in the wrong shots at the wrong time. And the surest way to help, Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic get back into this is going to be just to start making a few mistakes, right? Because all it takes to just flip the script and to win this next set for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, and the same score, is for them to tighten their game up, not hit a drive while he's fading back and away from the ball while Humphries is right on top of the net, just like that one, and tighten up and get rid of their errors. And then if they just get 1 or 2, or if, let's say, Nathan's forehands, he misses a couple because he was really hitting it well in the first set, but that doesn't mean he's going to keep hitting every single one. He's bound to miss a couple, right? If they tighten up their errors, get an error or 2 out of them, they'll right back in it. Oh, that was a go, and he was not ready to go.
No.
I think he thought, LeFevre was heading back to the ad side. Oh, gosh, that was a big backhand. Although why he wouldn't just push that serve down the middle, actually, I don't understand. You got to be as close to the center hash mark as you can. Humphries is getting 80%. Well, it might be tough for the lefty, but I'd stand near the center hash mark and hit just a straight serve down the middle, medium pace.
And he said, I know, Roman for a long time watching his serve. It's not often some of these guys, they get, when they're used to having their serve not get hit, and somebody keeps hitting it, they want to.
Right. So what you're probably alluding to is he's not used to having to make any adjustments. He just keeps hitting it. But, we all know if you want to be an elite player, you have to become, a player that thinks that way. Because right now, Stoisavljevic's spin serve, which is great to the ad court, is jumping right into Chris Humphries' best shot, which is the high backhand. Right? So you can't keep hitting that serve. Even if it's your better serve, it's not working that well against the guy. You got to make the adjustment. And that's what, let's see, even that overhead, hitting it down right in there.
And you can see early in the match, that was the two-hander that he just missed a few times, and that was in that one, first 2 games, and it looks like he's got it, going again. So you're right.
That's the spot right there that they got to just keep hammering away. They got to work the middle, soft and deep. Work the middle, soft and deep. Pinpoint those overheads.
Second set.
Good hold. Yeah, they got to keep it off and have Humphries play the ball, put it off Humphries' left hip. So it's not too close to the LeFevre forehand. And if Humphries has to hit a ball with his backhand, he's got to move around it.
Love 15.
Oh, you can see the other thing about, this sport is the momentum sport.
Love 30.
Oh, looks like he barely caught the edge of it. Just a miss hit there, missed time.
It's a momentum sport, and it's also a confidence sport where you don't want to give your opponents free confidence, and it's not, Patty was talking a lot earlier about front runners and how, when you play in front, and sometimes people get too aggressive, or it's a tough, situation, but you don't want to all of a sudden allow your opponents to, you don't want to give them free points, but you also don't want to allow them to just, get confidence in themselves by, missing a few. And it looked like Bobytskyi starting to play, hitting the ball a little better.
Well, they're making a few less errors right now, and they're playing a little more disciplined. And it may be that the other team will stop playing as disciplined, right? Give him a few. That was a ball that was from the service line. He just took a rip.
I mean,
now it's hard
we
for
were
us
just
to
talking
tell
about
here.
the first set. Next thing you know, it's break point here to go up 3-0.
Yep. Yeah, this is it. They're gonna play this, slow it down, which is crucial for them. I love that lob.
Yes.
He held it. Looked for a moment like he was going to drive, and he went up with it. That's perfect.
Game, Stoisavljevic,
Sure, what happened with
Bobytskyi. They lead
Humphries,
3
with
games to
Humphries
love.
there.
Second set.
A little flat-footed, and I think he easily could have had it with his
Humphries
athleticism.
won the first set.
Great start to the second set. They've dried up a couple of their errors, and you'd have to say, you know, Humphries and LeFevre have definitely started making a few more, right?
First game. The first game, Humphries missed 2 overheads. He said his first fault, unfortunately for him.
Love 15.
The ball looks like it just skidded off Bobytskyi's paddle there, so it might.
Love 30.
Yeah, I was about to say that before. It looks like you can watch it from this angle here. There's stuff coming off the ball. Like there is some moisture out there. It doesn't look like it's raining, but it definitely is something coming off the ball as they're hitting.
I mean, it's especially for the players that the newer players to the game. I've noticed over the years when you get a new ball when it's a little wet, that ball actually
great
15,
shot there from
30.
Stoisavljevic.
But the ball itself, with the more flocking on, sometimes will skid off your paddle than with the less flocking when it's wet. So
that's a great serve there from Bobytskyi. Yeah, got to be ready. That ball's going to spin right to him from Stoisavljevic. Stoisavljevic starting to do some damage with the overhead spins. Good move there from Humphries. Reads that spin. But that's the drive you want him to take when he's moving to the middle away from his side. If you go hard into his side screen or bounce it down to the outside of the court, you got to make him hit the ball from the center with his backhand and then do exactly what Stoisavljevic is doing, which is closing in. Then you're going to get opportunities to be able to hit behind him. That's good because it has the spin, but that's the overhead that's a little more dangerous and a perfect point.
30-0.
But as he said, Stoisavljevic, the big thing about, hit those backhands and volleys, he was closing the net. He was getting right on top of that net. And I think that's something that, the average player, sometimes sit there and go, I can volley from off. But if you know they're driving, get up there.
Right. No, I love the way Stoisavljevic played that last point. Wasn't a bad roller opportunity from Bobytskyi, just missed it. Short enough. You got to place that ball off. Chris Humphries' left hip. There's your ball. That's the spot. There it is again. That's the spot you want.
But this is the type of point that could help Nathan and Chris and Humphries and LeFevre, because they were losing all the points this set. Just like
oh, that's a great overhead.
Jeez.
Had him down on the ground, but he can't dig it. You're right. No, but this is a good game from Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi anyway. Oh. I still don't understand why he's not serving it up the tee, to make it Humphrey. You hit that ball wide to his backhand. You're asking him. Put up the tee. Oh, great hands.
Oh, great ball.
Oh, incredible stuff.
But that was the ball earlier that, Bobytskyi tried to drive. This time he just lobbed it up, got them back in the point.
Nice. That's going to be a tough dig. Nice. You hear them. That's going to work well. Nice. Oh.
Up.
Game.
Some point.
LeFevre, Humphries.
Much better
They are
game
down
there.
3 games to 1.
Humphries and LeFevre. And I didn't think it was a bad game from Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic in turn. They just missed a shot or two. He missed a roller one time, but the right idea. This is the right kind of tempo of play.
Yep. And unfortunately for those guys, they had the ball was spun off his paddle first 2 serves, and then took his time after that. So.
That's it. That'll work. And there it goes. You can bang it in there. That's good. Keep working that middle. Keep working it right there. Keep working it, but even if he has to take that one, it's not as bad as the alternatives.
Nope.
Oh.
15 love.
Right idea, and he makes an error right there at the end.
And sometimes it's the softer, easier shots we just literally take for granted.
Yep. I mean, he just missed it. I love the way he played the point, the idea behind it. We've all been there. There's plenty of easy overheads.
I think I missed a couple to you last week in our match. Sorry about that.
One of them was so easy. I remember you tried to hit one from behind your partner's head, fading away, trying to hit a cut winner.
I might have been aiming for my partner.
We actually thought that, my partner and I were like, I think he's trying to hit him. Oh, that's a great push towards the corner.
30, 15.
Great job. Both shots right in towards the crease. Makes Stoisavljevic have to choose, and couldn't come up with it that time. I like that. See, I don't like that.
40,
He's still
15.
back in the green. Humphries is already right on top of the net. It's not his best shot. I don't know. How do you feel about that one, Matt?
I think exactly. It was off balance.
Game. LeFevre, Humphries.
His backhand is so solid. There's nothing against saying bad about his forehand, but if he's not, balanced, he's got to just throw it back up.
Bobytskyi, they're leading 3 games to 2.
Fusion Sports. Fusion Sports is your source of high-end customer apparel. Fusion offers pro shop management, tournament favors, corporate branded gear, and youth sports. Fusion is the official supplier and apparel of the exclusive provider of the tournament favors to the APTA in the 2020 Nationals.
Yeah, Fusion Sports, a lot of good wear. A lot of the players out there have it. Some great favors. Yeah, so that's exactly what we don't need. Or if you're Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, you take a 3-love lead, and you got a game. You're right in the balance of it, and then it's just 2 forehands in a row. You got to play. If I were Bobytskyi, I would play the shot that is my best shot every time right now, because you just can't afford those misses. And let's say he made both of those forehands. Neither one of them was like a killer, or Humphries was all over the net on both of them.
Yeah, as you said, risk reward is a big deal. The risk reward is a big deal, and for some of these guys, they can hit both forehands and backhands. You can't tell me which is better, but for the ones that they're the ones that hit both of them, but make sure that if you really want to line up your shot, move your feet, take the window. Yep.
Oh, wow. That's just great. Great volleys, great position volleys. Fever loves moving forward. See that? If Humphries gets another one of those really for the game, you kind of know you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he gets another backhand moving forward and in to his right, you know you're not doing the right thing or being disciplined enough. He should get 2 of those a match at most. And if you're doing it, then you got to make sure you know when you're doing it, you're right on top of the net. Get ready to volley that next ball.
15 love.
See, because if you make him play long enough, maybe you'll get that. That of all the options, you know, a talented guy that Chris Humphries can be, if you're the other team, if you're Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, that's the one shot you want him to try and hit.
Yes.
You know. Ah, great hands. That's good, tough stuff.
Oh.
That's just tough.
30
Great cut.
love.
See what's the most amazing part? You said those great hands is their racket head didn't move, and I think that's one of the biggest things. A lot of the players is when people are coming at them, people are always thinking that they need to do so much with their volleys, and it's just put your racket in the correct spot, hold it right.
So smooth.
But those backhands, he's going to make most of them and put way more pressure on them than if he's moving around and hitting that forehand.
Oh, I tell you, Nathan LeFevre's got one of the better forehand volleys in the game. I mean, he hits a lot of them, and he just sticks it out. A lot of people don't have that facility to move the paddle from one side to the other as well as he does. It's really impressive. Look at that.
30,
but again,
15.
LeFevre knew where he was hitting before the ball was even getting hit. He was on there hitting a forehand volley. He was swinging before Bobytskyi even made contact. He's got to hit the ball behind LeFevre or at him, not away from him. And it's just getting used to these thought process. And this is where I think, you know, we've talked about it before, you know, with Jerry or with Mark. We do the live streams, Matt. You know, who's the captain on the team? Is there a captain on the team? Who's going to say these things? You know, it looks to me like Bursch and Stoisavljevic, Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic are just playing together, and no one's, saying anything to the other guy and saying, hey, we need to do this, or hey, we need to do that. What do you think?
I think, truly, I think one of the biggest things in finding the right partnerships, too, is not the talent you were playing with, but it's also, and there's trust issues of trusting your partner and thinking, having a strategy, not, I think we should play to deuce, so I should play to add. And you're right, especially in the first set, they didn't talk after they started, losing a few points in games. They just kind of just went their own way and tried to.
Yeah, went from 1-all to 6-1 in, like we said, in 10 minutes. And it might be, it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and as I said, it wasn't that.
That's why.
It was out. Advantage server.
All right, this is big. They can keep that lead up and find their way to the finish line. We all know that's the hardest thing in the world to do.
Great serve.
Great serve. He could have just popped that up. I think that would have been the play.
They lead.
They've been working him with some pretty good dunks. Nicely measured over Stoisavljevic. Yeah, you can see when he's hitting that ball, all that stuff coming off the ball from that perfect angle there when LeFevre's serving.
30 love.
But even though that was you should never miss a lot, but he lined up the backhand, he had them come closer to the net, he just happened to.
Oh, great spot.
30-15.
Humphries saw it, though. He was moving over. Just couldn't quite come up with the goods. Great drive. Early and quick down the line. Ooh, slippery.
I mean, the hardest part about one of the sport is in your head you're hoping your partner might hit certain shots and then he doesn't, and it's learning how to, okay, he hit that shot and okay, I wouldn't have done that, but I can't think about that. I got to just keep playing my shots then.
Oh, that's so well done.
40-15.
I mean, but I love how Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi went about that. Look, they had to hit 15 great cut overheads to win that point. Yes. And they may miss one of those. So they were hanging around. I like the way they played it. They got to get their lobs up a little more, but not that easy when they're dealing with all that spin. Tremendous. Oh, perfect miss hit.
Game, LeFevre Humphries.
Great hold. We got musical producers out here. John's in now. Hey, John, welcome back to the booth. Set. Kelly's out. It's like a tag team. Wonder if we could do that, Matt. Like tag you're in, tag you're out. Oh, it's like hockey lines. They got 5-minute shifts.
Oh, just because they wouldn't line one over there.
I want to know who's line one. Is that John? Is definitely line one. Okay. Oh wow.
Great get.
Yeah, great hands. That's good height. Love it. We've seen that be less and less of a factor. We were talking about that the other day. The high lob, Matt. What do you think about that?
I think one of the.
There's a split almost. Good wheels. That's
15 love.
Tough drop off the net.
I think, with these guys, they can cut balls so much on anything now. And
30 love.
They can cut balls on so many different shots that the height doesn't matter as much. Sometimes they're thinking about pushing them back, looking for more offense. Not as not like when we were taught to.
Right. So you think they're not hitting the high lobs as much because, well, I know for a fact that some guys like Drew Broderick think hitting a low quick lob is a much better chance because the guy doesn't have a chance to set up. And he thinks he can get a guy into hitting a ball down in a quicker way. And there's some truth to that, but there's also still time and place for a good high deep lob. You hit a good high deep lob, you can blitz behind it. You can move different places.
I do think that, I think with the, with the balls nowadays that are just a little, a little livelier, they compared to what they used to be, and the little livelier balls, you can all go and ask about global warming and stuff, but it is definitely it's just a little warmer than it used to be out here. It's 45 degrees in internationals, and the ball's gonna be moving, and it does make a difference of how you can hit and how you can play.
But what I loved about that drive is he went at LeFevre, and LeFevre was moving, so he was able to get it behind him, and that is the play.
Great play.
Humphries slides again.
Love.
My
15.
gosh, he's flexible. He's got a little Djokovic in him, sliding around on a gritty court. Some good leg strength.
The one thing is when Nathan's moving forward is sometimes Roman will back up at Bobytskyi just stays up there, and you gotta, if Nathan can figure that out, he can realize that if he's gonna blitz or he's gonna do something, he's got to stay away from Bobytskyi and go.
And he went down the line again there. See that? Great play. He's getting wise.
They were listening to you, Brad.
You think he's got the earpiece listening to the comments?
He's listening to the conversation.
That's two really smart plays. Yeah, it goes deep and at the body. And that's the great thing on those ones that bounce up close. You can hit them on the rise, get extra spin. Yeah, get the energy from the ball bouncing up combined with your own swing. The double juice.
It was always fun when we were playing back in the days, and you'd hit a short lob to Mr. Uline.
Yeah.
He did all this package, but yeah. He
hit
a short lob to him. He let it bounce, and you just, sometimes you would just say, please don't, and just give him the point.
I concede. You throw in the white towel, you say, oh.
Advantage receiver.
All right, here's set point here. So set point for Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi. Oh, and there it is.
Second set. Stoisavljevic, Bobytskyi win 6-3. Second set.
All right, so
LeFevre
terrific.
And Humphries won the first set.
Terrific win there for Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live. Welcome back to the Men's National Championships. We are here in the round of 32, where the team of Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi just took the second set 6-3 against the seeded team of Humphries and LeFevre. And Matt, what do you think of that set? So it's all even now.
It almost like a reverse 180 replay. I mean, it definitely, as I said, it looks a little, I'm looking at the court in between the sets, looks a little wet out there, so it's definitely making it, a little bit harder for these guys to hit. But the team that wanted to play the most discipline, that was the team that won the set. So I think, coming out, it's going to be interesting. It's, now you're going to talk about the youth, the use of Humphries. How is that going to play in? And
are you talking more about the experience he has, like in a third set grind, or?
Yeah, not the youth as in, the other one's tired. Not that, but he's, you know.
Well, the young guys shouldn't be tired, right?
And then 2 matches in the day.
And I don't
if you're
think he's tired at all.
If you're 2 matches in the day tired, well, no. Not like the days when 4 or 5 matches on a Saturday and you got to the quarterfinals and it was, your 5th match of the day sometimes. So no, not. But sometimes it is. Mentally you're.
Well, I think it's the mental fitness that we're talking about here. In general. So here we go. Stoisavljevic to start us off. Good serve. Still going into the strength of Humphries, but misses that one. I like this. They're starting out right away with a little Australian. Give him a look right off the bat and a couple of easy misses quickly. Yeah, we just saw a shifting in the air. I mean, it was funny. They got down 3-0, Humphries and LeFevre, in that last set. And then it was pretty even after that. Ooh, service called out.
Crack up.
Okay, and then confirmed by umpire Laurie Hissey after a little bit of hesitation. So 30-15 for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic are up 30-15.
That's a good return. And he finally didn't go back at Bobytskyi, because I think he's got phenomenal hands, just standing up there and just, not just.
Oh. Oof. Oh, beautifully done. A lot of cat and mouse there. Pretty. Surprised not to see somebody. Usually you hit that low one and you take a quick foray to the net to see what you can cut off, but play out that way. See here, this is really the key. If they could keep that up and keep going. You see Humphries move over there like that, and then they find, if they can consistently find in the backcourt the LeFevre backhand and the Humphries forehand, that'll bode well in the long run for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic.
But you can also see in Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic that their confidence in their shots. Like when they started losing, it was super fast and super quick, and it wasn't like you said. It wasn't like Nathan and LeFevre and Humphries were sitting there and just wow on them. They just didn't play well, and sometimes you just tighten it up a little bit, and then
that's all it is. I think this match is just going to come. It's going to be less about the shots made than the choices made
30,
and the shots
30.
missed. It's going to be who misses less and who makes the right choices. Because they're all talented. They all have skills. They all can rip the ball in various places on the court. Yeah, you see Stoisavljevic has a great spin overhead. The only guy really without a spin overhead is Bobytskyi, but he doesn't need it. He can just keep pushing it to that spot, be disciplined, don't worry about it, bait them into the wrong position shot. I love those overheads he's hitting right now because that's the pace he wants.
Yeah,
just push it right there, right to Humphries, left hip, go one after another.
But that's the ball right there. I know, that Stoisavljevic, he's got to be careful though.
Yeah, Stoisavljevic's got to be careful, but at least those balls aren't getting hit downward. Like, that's worse, right? Those balls are getting hit more upwards, and that's a little less danger.
Interesting. So,
that's great.
LeFevre's old partner, and I thought had still one of the best overheads
You're talking about Scott Estes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Scott Estes had a terrific sort of lefty. He could let it drop. He could cut it. He could take it from high and take pace off of it.
But he just would make that second post.
Yep.
You'd just be hitting, after day after day after second post. He would never give you
that is great
an opportunity
playing.
to drive.
See, Maddie, I love that point from Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. Bobytskyi just pushed all his overheads flat to the right spot. And the key words there are not the flat, not anything. He hit them to the right spot at the right pace so they could be in position, and they didn't give any good looks to Humphries and LeFevre. And the looks, and they still drove Humphries and LeFevre about 10 balls, but they were able to make each volley, be solid, and eventually they just, missed a lob.
And there's that wet ball that slid right off.
That's out.
That's 2 in a row. It's just sliding off his paddle.
Oh, ball a little lower. Needs to hit up on it just a hair more, but he's moving forward into the court. And there's some shots that you just don't see a lot of out here yet. Now, some of it's just because of the style, but like Humphries, he could really rip it, and he's great at letting the ball go to the screen and then lifting it back up.
Advantage server.
But you never see him step in and hit a block lob, or do that kind of move that sort of holds them in position.
Yep. I saw Bobytskyi started to do that a little bit more. He started to step up a little bit more.
Deuce.
Sneaky.
But he started to step up and play closer to baseline, a la Steve DeRose, who is the king of taking away time.
Well, let's just say Steve DeRose doesn't play at the baseline. He plays inside the baseline. You stand inside the baseline. See, I love that stuff. He's great letting it go off the screen, letting his paddle drop, going up. I'd love to see that ball be block lobbed up the line quickly.
Yes.
And steal some of the time and allow them to move quickly and force them up and back a little more. So it's just these ingredients. Look, Humphries is great. That these small ingredients that are going to make a difference down the road.
Advantage
and to continue
server.
as I said, there's absolutely no reason he's not going to be, that he won't be an elite player in the game.
Do you think part of that has to do is, not the moment a little bit, but also having a lefty hitting it to you where you're, again, it's funny because the lefties have such an advantage with certain spins and stuff, but at the same time, you ask a lefty, they say they hate playing lefties more than righties do.
Right. And I think it could be, but I just think it's more of an experience thing. I don't see there's any reason why he wouldn't be able to do it there, and he'll just gain it. I mean, like we talked about, he's only been playing a couple of years, and he's already, very, very, very good.
Great kid.
That's great. And there it is. If they just keep putting it there time and time again. Oh, that time too close to LeFevre, who was waiting for it. The great transition back. That's terrific play. No, but they had the right idea, just Stoisavljevic didn't place his overhead well enough. It got too close. And LeFevre moved over and snuck it. Good sniper. Fun action, Maddie.
Yeah, I will say this much. First two sets were, a lot of talent with a lot of, it's like, thank you, here you go. And this set is so far, it's been.
Well, what I love is I've seen now from Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi, they have a little bit more of at least a plan. There's a little bit of bad luck, and whereas in the first set they were just banging balls. Now they're starting to understand where they need to go on the court. I haven't seen much change, actually, to be honest, on the Humphries side and the Humphries and LeFevre side. Not much has changed. They're just playing. I can't determine what specifically their strategy is, where they want to hit the ball on the court yet. That was a good play. Humphries just couldn't quite get up in time, and that's happened 4 or 5 times. And I gotta say, I'm gonna put that one on Nathan LeFevre. Humphries is moving up the side wire, way out of position to take an early backhand. LeFevre stepping in. He's got to cover that ball through the middle.
No, they had the point before. Unfortunately, they played it just right. And,
just missed.
Hit the top of the net on a high volley. And,
it was a good play.
Then you feel, sometimes you feel like, I got to rush to the next one. I got to get it right away.
You know, you're right, but the credit on that I'm actually going to give to Stoisavljevic, who hit a great lob volley to get it out of the way of Nathan LeFevre, who was right on top of the net. And then, you know, Humphries came in to take out of the air, which isn't necessarily a bad play, but he's in much worse position than LeFevre is. And
first game of the
great,
third set,
great
won by
fight for the hold from
Stoisavljevic, Bobytskyi. They lead 1 game to love in the third set.
Great fight for that hold.
Well, I know, Brad, there's another match going on the other court over here, and
yes.
Compton
got a score over there?
Yeah, I don't think we have it. Not looking for it. We'll look for it. I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to take in the Compton-Kaler match.
Compton-Kaler against Mushunga and Chidzikwe.
Yes.
Yeah, the Boston team. They're, you know, we're basically right on the. They're good.
They're
fast. Very good.
Fastest. But the rest of the 32s have finished already. So, you know, it's a nice little, you know, we had a weather alert, so they got the 32s finished up, and, you know, now, so these are the last 2 matches of the day. Get to watch in the first day of the Friday matches. And, you know, all the seeds so far have, you know, come through. You know, they're coming through. There's been a couple great matches, I've been told.
Ooh, topspin flipper lob. Oh, great dig. Oh. Should have gone right back at him, I think. Nice job. So smart. Just push it there. That's it. But even if he's hitting the drive, that's the one you want. Where he's not moving forward and to his right. He's actually moving inside and to his left. It's a harder shot for him to get as much juice on, and it's easier to defend for the net team.
That's the big thing. Easier to defend.
Yep. This is turning into a good battle. That's it. Great reads now from Stoisavljevic, finding the creases, seeing where they're moving. He pushes that one deep, using different heights to mix it up, and beautifully done. That's perfect. They gave them not a single decent look to hit, and then covered the net, and that is exactly what you want. And we're seeing now, you know, the offense start to dry up a little from Humphries and LeFevre, just because they're just not getting any.
Right.
You know, and you can't try to force it. This is where Humphries and LeFevre have to be really careful and just be super disciplined. You can't try to force it or make errors or try to make something appear out of nothing.
No, that's the thing.
I mean, play.
You can't get frustrated about it. You just have to.
Ooh. That's a great cutter.
Oh, watch the spin on this thing.
Oh, Kenny, he dig it.
Oh! I stayed in.
That's incredible stuff. We've got a replay on that. Let's see.
Oh.
But
15-30.
Matt, I think that's another what we were talking about. Can he hit it? Yes. Is he set up to hit it? I don't think so. He's not on our screen there, so it's hard to tell, but I think he's not set up for it.
Serve is out. 15-40.
Love this start from Bobytskyi Stoisavljevic in this deciding third. Love that play. Fakes the drive and then takes the right choice, which is the quick lob. Forces the down up overhead, and then you get the better drive on the next ball from Stoisavljevic.
Yeah, no, that's their. As I said, we talked about the, you know.
2-love.
You know, I think Anton Bobytskyi, he really changed his kind of like attitude look a little bit, his approach, and
Oh,
started
what a turn.
picked
Love
up his game
15.
enough to hasn't made really many mistakes except for that one game with the 3 forehands.
Right, no. They've totally changed the tenor of this fadeaway,
15
back
out.
screen, in the green, off your heels forehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's the discipline that's going to kill him, but wow. 15 all, that's a terrific return. Stoisavljevic is starting to dial in with his overheads, as is Bobytskyi in a different way. Bobytskyi's just getting good at pushing the ball to the right spot, time and again.
Ball's
But
out.
Stoisavljevic is doing damage.
It's but the confidence. is
30,
there.
15.
When you have
Yeah,
the
but he's also
confidence.
just adjusted, I
Yep.
think, Matt. I think he's adjusted. Oh, great move.
40,
good
15.
play. 40-15. This is where, if I'm Nathan, I step back and I take my partner aside and I go, you know, hey, listen, we got this. We just have to do these 2 things, 3 things. Don't feel like this is getting away from us. Let's go. And you can tell he's just cutting him in there.
We've all been
But-
there where you feel like no matter what, the momentum is just.
See, those are just like, he's just hitting them, and
40,
Bobytskyi bit into
30.
it. He went for the shot, as opposed to, I think if I'm Bobytskyi,
40,
I
30.
say to myself, look, we're starting to upset these guys. We're getting them a little in their heads. I'm not going to give him, like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to lob that ball, lob that right ball, look for the right shot. I think that was just long.
Yeah, that's
Ball was long.
Yep.
Deuce.
You're right. I mean, it's.
Deuce.
I think one of the big things is, you're a puncher. You know, we're not in a heavyweight fight where you're one punch away from winning it. You just got to sometimes keep the body blows going and going and going.
That's smart. I love this. Now they're switching in the backcourt, and there's a good captain play. You know, because they're working over Humphries now. You can see it. They're going at him, and they're trying to gate him into it. And when you put a different player on a different side, it changes Stoisavljevic's ability to attack. Because now, ooh, that's great. Nice.
This
Advantage server.
But he's a little out of sorts. He's fading away again. Ball's pushing back in there.
And that's where it comes where
The captain's got to slow him down here, take him aside.
The experience of just do it again.
Smart again.
Right.
Smart from Stoisavljevic. Lob volley retreat makes it an easy transition back. You know you're going to lose the hands battle with the player coming forward in a high ball. That's it. Wow, great lob.
That's just frustration.
Game.
Unfortunately.
Bobytskyi,
The lob hits the
Stoisavljevic.
line, and you're like, what do I need to
Doing
do?
so
And
well. Sorry.
Well, that one there, I think it's tough. I mean,
Stoisavljevic, they lead 3 games to
that
love in the
transition
3rd
ball
set.
can be made, but there's a lot of time for your opponents to get into net on that one. So it has to be extra good, and sometimes discretion's the better part of valor, as they say, and you should lob it up. All right, crunch time here. 3-0 lead for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. It's time for a regroup from Humphries and LeFevre, and you can really see how this match has shifted and how the play from Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic at the net has really changed things.
yeah, no, exactly. It's I love that they did it. They switched in the backcourt. They showed something different, even though it's never too late. They showed something different. And, if you're
Oh, Yeah, and I thought the last 3 drives from Humphries in that game were a little bit frustration drives. You know what I mean? Like, just
I never had that
frustration.
I never had the tennis game that I could just take over like some of these people have, and so I've never had to deal with that. But when you get frustrated out here and you're used to being able to hit your way out of something, and it doesn't work.
No, and I'm going to tell you, Bobytskyi and I think that was good. That's a confidence builder. He was still fading away and moved back into the green, but anything you get at this point in time in a big moment, and that's a big moment, just winning that 1 point. And because it all just starts with 1 point.
30 love.
Right? And that's how it goes.
The miss there by Stoisavljevic, and then the first thing Anton did, he said, don't worry about it, but slow it down. You know?
Yeah, we all know momentum is such a huge
Ball was
thing.
out.
That was out. So
30-15.
30-15. But they just need to get that first game, Humphries and LeFevre, and you know, it could catapult them. We'll see. There's 2 faults. Little hang dog.
30,
keep his head.
30.
His positive body language.
So we're out here watching this and listening, you know, watching these guys, and mystery.
Nice.
Number one seed in this tournament.
Oh, that is so perfect.
Great catch.
Advantage receiver.
Perfect play. He pushed him back with the lob, set up the forehand. Stoisavljevic just reads it, and they get the up volley, and he puts it away. I love it. So we just got a score over there. Thank you, Jerry. Chizikwe and Mushunga win the first set against Kaler and Compton 6-3. Great effort from those guys. And to me, Matt, it's only been a matter of time for them. They've been right there, and they're playing at a really, really good level. We'll see if Kaler and Compton, you know, are clearly one of the favorites here. If, you know, if seeds have an answer in the second.
You can call them the last year Kaler Compton, but that's what they were. They played all the tournaments.
Deuce.
And they've gotten better and better. They've been coming back, and you know, they're lovely talking to those guys and Genius and listening to those guys.
It's an all-time name.
But they're talking about learning and getting better, and that's exactly. I remember watching Compton and Kaler over the last couple of years, just watching those guys. You know, where they're going from a 32 to a 16 to an 8 to a last year a semifinal, and
well, they're definitely learning and getting better, Matt. I tell you, this game is so crucial. It is break point, and I feel like this is possibly a mini match point here.
That's back to
Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. This is break point for a 4-love lead, and they got to get that first game under their belt. Get something good to happen. It all starts to feel like it's all going bad, and Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi have made the necessary adjustments.
And the one thing about the boys, they're not giving them anything again. They're really just...
No, you're 100% right. They're
sometimes
giving
when you
them
get closer to the finish line, you want to race to it, and they're not. They're sticking to their game plan now. They look like they talked about what they needed to do, and
oh, they definitely made a shift, and you can see, and they've stopped hitting any balls that allow real good backcourt offense from Humphries and LeFevre, and they've done such a terrific job taking and holding the net, and then they've just been much more disciplined in the backcourt. Instead of giving away points, they're taking the right drives while the guys are off the net, and as a consequence, they're up, 3-love now in the third. And the flip side of it is, on the other side, the other guys, they needed to see this happening and be able to kind of like stem the tide. Oh, Stoisavljevic get caught cheating up a little, and there was a great cutoff there from
LeFevre.
LeFevre.
Thinking during that point that, you know, the one thing too is they kind of kept Nathan at check, meaning they're not allow him to run around at the top of the net like they were in the first set. A couple balls that they hit behind him, you know, kept him back a little bit.
Oh!
Advantage server.
That was a decent look there from Stoisavljevic. He missed it though, and at this point, if they get this game after having a break point down, that'll be a great start. He's calling time. Not sure why, but seen by the umpire, and got to play when your opponents are ready. Did hold up his hand. That's a great look. Yeah, the positioning from Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi has gotten so much better too.
Ball was out.
Just out. I mean, we got a good look at that.
I mean,
it was really, really
so
tight.
Close.
Confirmed by the umpire though. That's a good dig. But I want them to be careful. I want them to drive when the other guys are off the net, not on. I mean, it's a basic construct of paddle, right? Drive it when they're off the net.
You lop to drive, and if you get them off, take them out. But no, I think one of the biggest things when these guys is watching them now. All these guys are so used to, you know.
See, but that's what Nathan LeFevre is so good at.
Yep.
Taking your off-pace drive, just poaching it and slapping it back at you. I think to me that's playing towards his strengths.
But if you notice the way
Deuce.
they were hitting some of those overheads, they were doing a little bit like Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic, which were doing with their overheads and just not hitting the cutters, pushing them up the middle.
Wow. Oh, those lobs, two of them right on the baseline. Just incredible. Ah, I mean, that's so good from Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. They have really, really tightened up their games. Now they're all over the Knicks. These are just spotting balls. Gotten smart. Oh.
Great kit.
Come on. Oh, so beautifully
Advantage
done.
Receiver.
Wow. All right, another break point. Way to hang in there from Humphries and LeFevre, though. But Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi have gotten so good and tight at the net. And you notice
Deuce.
Big miss there.
That was too nonchalant. I mean, it's easy for us to stay here, but it's major point. You know, 4-0.
Yeah, you can't miss the return, right? Yeah.
Don't be so nonchalant about it. Don't like it's just.
Advantage server.
We'll take them.
And then it gets in your head for the next point.
Yeah. Well, see if they can close it out. They just need a game. And this is such a crucial one. Oh, yeah, he got pegged. He's saying he's sorry, but, you know, it was a good shot. He bounced it up to him, gave him the spike, and LeFevre knows he almost deserved that one, right? Yeah. That's out.
Ball was out.
Another
Advantage
point.
receiver.
Again, 1 second ago we're talking about a bad return, and oh, here's the game point, and then it's one bad overhead. Now they're at a point.
Bad overhead and a fault. Oh.
Deuce.
It's a great shot from Humphries. A surprising misread, though, by Bobytskyi. Just got caught. See, that's the play, that off-pace ball. I think he's got to take it down the line if he's going to do it. That's good pace. Beautiful.
Advantage server.
But see, it started with the off-pace drives again, and then LeFevre putting the thing down in there. That's not the ultimate way they've been winning their points.
The last few games, you know, up until this last game, you know, Bobytskyi's been going down the line, you know, or if he's going to hit it, he was hitting it. And that's, you know, now he went back to the off-pace cross-court and.
Great read.
Game. LeFevre,
you rarely
Humphries,
want both players running into the same time. You want one player trailing behind. And that is huge for Humphries just to get a game, right?
And it looked like, again, it kind of looked like they got the game out of that, but it was one of those where they fought hard, and then at the end it was just handed to them.
Oh yeah, no, I think on balance, Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic are playing so much better, making it so much harder on those hands. You know, so much harder on Humphries and LeFevre. But there, they gave them a few shots back, and they got off script twice or 2 or 3 times. I'll tell you, Stoisavljevic is getting very active, closing in the net beautifully.
15 love.
The volleys there, though, I mean, they made probably, you know.
Oh, they made amazing volleys.
5 or 6 volleys from below the net that they hit back, and they
take it.
Luck.
Could use it at this point.
15.
Just reading the volley so well. He's missed a couple lobs there.
15.
Caught. That's incredible. He does that so well. He holds the continental and he just flicks it over. It's pretty impressive, actually. It's not easy to be as precise as he is. That's a dangerous blitz there. Return is not low enough, but hands are amazing.
Some people might look at those overheads and go, well, where's the spin and everything? They're perfect because they can't get attacked. They're putting pressure on, but not like, you know.
That was a little dangerous, but if there's a shot you want Humphries to hit, it's that forehand right now. He's clearly not feeling super confident. And they're perfect, not just perfect, they're perfect for the situation too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes you got to tailor your shots based on who you're playing against, where you're hitting the ball, where the safe space on the court is, how your opponents are playing that day. find those areas, and you know, just keep working them. Great job, though.
Great
This
hands.
is a good point all around.
Yes.
Smart. Yeah, he's just pounding it in there. That's going. And it's out.
Always
and
out.
that is a perfect point from Stoisavljevic
Advantage server.
and Bobytskyi, giving them nothing they want, and then eventually they just get an error. You know,
when
after 50 lobs.
And then when they do get a drive driven at
It's
them,
40-30.
their hands were so good and their positioning was great. They're playing
Yep.
together as a team there, and that's a big thing sometimes is watching some of these players that are, getting into it. And when your partner's hitting the overhead, the best thing you can do is put yourself in a position to help them just in case. And all four of these players have been doing that, and it makes a big difference because if they do have a bad overhead, because as you said, 50 in a point, they're in a position.
See, but what's happening
Game.
here is, Humphries is letting that ball
Stoisavljevic,
drop a little. He's
Bobytskyi,
hitting more of
they
a
lead
probing
4
drive.
games to
He's
1
not hitting the ball from high
in
to
the
low,
third set.
downward.
Guys had 7 games.
So they're
new
not,
ball.
and they're on top of the net and hitting volleys through. And you've got Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi on the net, and
Time.
LeFevre's just getting caught, in the in-between zone.
But that's where we talked about, I think as we talked about the experience is the, not the experience as in, oh, I shouldn't drive that ball, but you'll see a lot of the players, like you can get away with that until you play the higher players more often that can
Bobytskyi,
volley that. Oh wait,
they're
if I
leading
take
4
it up
games to
top,
1 in
I
the
can hit
third
down
set.
on the ball.
Yeah, and it's also just a lack of cohesive teamwork between LeFevre and, meaning if Nathan LeFevre's going to rush forward, he's got to know Humphries is taking the ball from high to low, down and early. And Humphries is letting that ball drop and spinning the ball up. It's not a bad drive that he hit, but it's not appropriate for a blitz.
Correct.
Right? And you have to have that sort of cohesive mindset on this stuff if it's going to work out for you. Oh!
Brand new ball goes.
Brand new ball, and he didn't like it. He puts it in the, you can see at the top of our screen there.
15
Compton
left.
and Kaler are going to play a lead on this point from the ball flying over. So they're going to send it back just out of the reach of Stoisavljevic there.
Love.
Oh, Roman's not liking this new ball yet.
Roman's not like he think he's the new
Yeah,
ball's causing him some issues. Well, he certainly missed the first couple with it.
No, it's
Oh, good leave there
40
from Humphries.
love.
Looked like he was going to hit it, and then he just left off. Terrific. Spun off his paddle.
LeFevre Humphries, they trail 4 games to 2, third set.
That is a great, quick, good, solid hold there. Got a couple errors and then closed it out. That's what they need now. They need to play good points from the backcourt now.
15 love.
great first volley.
And they're finding their spots to keep the back, to place that ball now. And it's just been tough for them to find the offense without, and it's been really tough for them to get Stoisavljevic and Bobytskyi out of position. They're volleying really with ease these days,
The majority of the volleys they're hitting, too, they're closer to the net than they are to the service line because they're moving in a position.
30 love.
See, that point, though, is not set up. The guy's not off the net. You got to get him off first. You got a lot better. Know when the right opportunity is. Because even as talented as he is as a player, it's just the odds aren't in your favor.
40, love.
Back in the brown, ball's low, both players in position.
Looks like
you just don't hit it.
A little frustration because again, you're hitting great shots, and when you hit great shots and you don't win the point, it makes it tougher.
Yeah, but if your opponents are right on the net, Matt, you know, these guys are great players. They're not bad players.
40,
he missed
30.
that one, but these guys make volleys. They've been making them all, you know, for a while now. It's not a surprise. You know, you can't beat it through them. You got to earn your way. It's tough. Oh, nice dig. There it is, 5-2.
Bobytskyi, Stoisavljevic. They lead 5 games to 2 in the third set. 5-2.
But with Bobytskyi's, you know, positioning, and with Stoisavljevic's positioning, if I am LeFevre and Humphries, I'm going to say, listen, we're not going to drive any balls that are net high or lower at this point in time. Just none. Just don't. You know what I mean? Like, and then wait. You're going to have to lob better to earn your way back into this. Oh, that's great off pace. That's
love,
a terrific
15.
shot.
And you've noticed a couple times that Bobytskyi was hitting balls down the line, down the line, down the line. It's the first time Nathan really had to cover the line because
he was frozen there.
He was frozen, so it opened up that middle drive. That's what it does after a while, you know.
Ball was out, 15 all.
No. Oh,
15-30.
30. 2 points from the match for Bobytskyi and Stoisavljevic. Oh, he's got it, and it is
15,
double match
40.
point, Matt. Oof, that was close. Wow, nice dig. And there it is.
Set and match.
Game, set, match. So,
Bobytskyi,
Matt, any final thoughts on the match?
No, I think it was a great job by
6-3,
Bobytskyi and
6-2.
Stoisavljevic to come and
Congratulations,
ride
guys.
ship,
Good match. Good
put their
fight.
head on their shoulders and get back, and then they have to get a good night's sleep because they got a big match tomorrow morning.
Well, it's a terrific run from them. They made terrific adjustments, and we're going to be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and we'll see everybody there, and that's a wrap delivered by Uline.
Thank you.